The wedding invitation was never supposed to change my life. I only agreed to help because it sounded simple, harmless, and temporary. My ex-girlfriend's younger sister needed someone to pretend to be her fiancé for one weekend so she could avoid endless family pressure and embarrassing questions. I thought I would smile for a few photographs, survive a few awkward conversations, and disappear before anyone noticed. But when the luxury hotel made a booking mistake and handed us the key to a room with only one bed, every painful memory I had spent years trying to bury came rushing back. Sometimes life doesn't reopen old doors to hurt us again. Sometimes it opens them because something beautiful has been waiting behind them all along. Before we continue, if you believe kindness deserves a second chance and that the smallest acts of compassion can change someone's life forever, please like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to Everyday English Podcast for more emotional stories that remind us hope is never truly lost. My name is Nathan Cole, and nearly 3 years had passed since my relationship with my former girlfriend ended. It had not ended with anger or betrayal. Instead, it slowly faded beneath the weight of different dreams, busy careers, and silent misunderstandings. We wished each other well before walking away, believing distance would eventually erase the memories. It mostly did, until one unexpected phone call arrived from her younger sister, Harper. She explained that her traditional relatives had spent years insisting she settle down. After inventing stories about a successful relationship just to stop their endless questions, she suddenly found herself invited to a huge family wedding where everyone expected to meet her future husband. She needed someone trustworthy who already knew the family but wasn't emotionally involved. Somehow, after weeks of searching, my name became her last hope. I almost refused. The idea of seeing familiar faces from my past felt exhausting. But Harper sounded genuinely overwhelmed, and despite everything that had happened, I never blamed her for the breakup. She had always been kind to me, treating me like an older brother instead of simply her sister's boyfriend. I finally agreed, convincing myself it was only one weekend and that helping another person was worth a little discomfort. The wedding venue sat beside a peaceful lake surrounded by green hills under a bright summer sky. Everything looked picture perfect. White flowers decorated every walkway, colorful ribbons danced gently in the warm breeze, and families filled the gardens with laughter that echoed across the water. The sunlight painted everything with a soft golden warmth, making it impossible not to smile despite my nervousness. Harper introduced me as her fiancé, and surprisingly, everyone accepted the story without suspicion. Her parents welcomed me politely, distant relatives complimented us, and curious cousins immediately began asking about our imaginary future together. The only unexpected problem came after sunset when we checked into the hotel. Due to an overbooked weekend and a reservation error, every spare room had already been assigned. The receptionist apologized repeatedly before handing us one keycard with an embarrassed smile. There was only one room available, and inside it stood one large bed. We both laughed awkwardly because there was nothing else we could do. Harper insisted she would sleep on the comfortable sofa near the window, while I gathered spare blankets and made a bed on the carpet instead. Neither of us wanted the situation to become uncomfortable or disrespectful. That night we talked longer than either of us expected. Without pretending anymore, we spoke honestly about life, loneliness, family expectations, and the strange ways people heal after heartbreak. Harper admitted she had watched both her sister and me slowly drift apart even though we still cared about each other. She confessed that the breakup had quietly hurt everyone because they believed we genuinely brought out the best in one another. Listening to her reminded me that relationships rarely end because love disappears completely. Sometimes timing simply refuses to cooperate. The following morning brought bright sunshine and another full day of wedding celebrations. We laughed through family games, danced with energetic children, and helped elderly relatives carry decorations across the gardens. As the hours passed, pretending became surprisingly easy because our friendship was completely genuine. People noticed how naturally we encouraged one another, how we shared responsibilities without arguing, and how we quietly looked after everyone around us. Several relatives even commented that we seemed like a couple built on trust rather than appearances. Then came the moment I never expected. My former girlfriend arrived unexpectedly after changing her travel plans. Time seemed to freeze as our eyes met across the decorated ballroom. Neither of us looked angry. We simply looked older, calmer, and wiser than the people who once believed love alone could solve every problem. We greeted each other warmly, exchanged polite smiles, and spent the afternoon helping the wedding guests together without reopening old wounds. Later, while standing beside the peaceful lake during the reception, she quietly thanked me for helping her sister. She admitted Harper had been anxious for weeks and that my kindness had rescued the entire weekend. She also apologized for how life had separated us years earlier. Hearing those words lifted a weight I had unknowingly carried for a long time. Forgiveness arrived without dramatic speeches or emotional scenes. It simply settled into our hearts like gentle sunlight after a storm. As evening approached, something unexpected happened inside the family itself. Harper gathered enough courage to tell her parents the truth. She admitted I was never really her fiancé and explained that I had only agreed to help because she felt overwhelmed by expectations she wasn't ready to meet. Silence filled the room for several long seconds. Then her father slowly smiled. Instead of becoming angry, he apologized for placing so much pressure on his daughter that she believed pretending was her only option. Her mother embraced her with tears, promising that happiness mattered far more than appearances. The entire room seemed lighter after honesty replaced fear. Driving home the next morning, I realized the weekend had never been about pretending to be someone else. It had been about rediscovering the person I had always wanted to become. Kindness had brought me back into a family I thought I had lost forever. Old pain had transformed into peaceful memories. Harper found the courage to tell the truth. Her parents learned that unconditional love means accepting people before expecting perfection. Even my former girlfriend and I finally found the closure we never managed to give each other years ago. Life rarely follows the plans we carefully create. Sometimes a mistaken hotel reservation, one shared room, and an unexpected invitation become the very moments that teach us forgiveness, humility, and hope. We often think second chances are meant to restore old relationships, but sometimes they exist to heal old wounds instead. Not every love story ends with romance. Some end with respect, gratitude, and hearts finally free enough to move forward. If this story touched your heart and reminded you that forgiveness is often the greatest gift we can give ourselves, please like this video, share it with your friends and family, and subscribe to Everyday English Podcast for more emotional stories filled with hope, kindness, and unforgettable life lessons. Special request, please comment below and tell us, have you ever received an unexpected second chance that changed your life forever? No matter how painful yesterday may seem, tomorrow always carries the possibility of healing. Sometimes the people we meet again are not sent back to restart the past. They are sent back to remind us that even broken chapters can lead to beautiful endings, and that the greatest journeys begin the moment we choose kindness over regret.